Hey, it's February the 4th, 2020. Almost stumbled over that one. And you know why you're here. So let's kick this off, right, and introduce the players. Hey, I'm Gerissar.
Hey, everyone, and I'm
Padawan.
Hey, everyone, and I'm Andallyn. Welcome to the show.
It's like we've never done this. It's like every time.
I mean,
yeah,
it is.
Unfortunately,
You're not wrong.
Winston's not here. He is out doing some repairs on somebody's house for electricity. Hopefully, he doesn't electrocute himself. Really hoping not.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have a guest, so it's just me and you.
Yeah. Yes. Company
That's
of two.
right.
That's okay. In Twitch chat,
Yeah.
so I mean, we'll be okay. So.
I'm trying to figure out which way you're this way.
Yes,
okay.
There you go. Yep.
Okay, there we go. Figured it out. Okay.
And I'm.
All right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got it. Sweet.
But hey, Andallyn, what have you been up to the last 2 weeks, man?
Yeah, man. So I know I talked a little bit about last episode how I was kind of getting back into retail, and I've definitely gotten back into retail. I've really been enjoying it. 8.3 has been a blast for me so far.
Yeah.
I know that there's a lot of varied opinions, and I don't want to say any of those opinions are wrong. Even like the systems don't have to be flawless for me to still have a good time, or for anyone really. So I've really been enjoying it, and I was playing a Death Knight, but I'm now playing a Fire Mage, and I'm loving every moment of it, dude. Fire is so well made right now, and it's so much fun.
Oh my. So let me go straight. So you shelved the Pally, went and played Classic for a bit, came back, decided to level and play a Death Knight, and then have since shelved the Death Knight and leveled and now starting to play a Fire Mage.
Yeah, the Death Knight had a pretty short lifespan, but yeah. I mean, in all fairness, though, my WoW career began as a Fire Mage.
Fair enough.
Played it in vanilla, so.
Yep.
I mean, hey.
And I mean, it looks like Fire Mage does look like a lot of fun.
It is. Highly recommend.
And when you get up those, when you get those greater pyros off, it must feel pretty rewarding.
What really sealed the deal was getting a ring with infinite stars. That's when I knew. That the.
Whoa. When did you get this? When did you get your mage to 120?
Sunday. So 48 hours ago.
So in 48 hours, you got a ring with infinite stars on it?
Yeah, I'm 436 item level 2.
Well, that was a great show, folks.
Yes, more times playing.
Been fired from the podcast. We'll wait until Winstead shows back up.
Hey,
have a good night, everybody.
All you need is hard work and dedication, and it will come.
No, you don't. You need a horseshoe.
Well, that's why I have pyroblasts. Just throwing them out, man.
That is not fair.
It's like horseshoes and hand grenades, except you get all the hand grenades, you know?
Yeah. Okay, how much corruption is on that ring then? Because that's pretty
50.
big.
It's a big bomb.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I've said, oh my gosh, to not get smacked in the face by this thing from beyond, which hurts, especially in the beginning when I had like 130k health. I was like, I got to get my cloak, and I stacked up as much resist as I could. So I'm only sitting at 20 corruption after all my resistance. So I'm needing more corruption because, I mean, let's be honest, 20 is for like scrubs. Like 20 corruption, okay, yeah.
You mean corruption resistance? Right?
No, like 20, not base corruption, like actually like 20 corruption. Like you should be running 38, 39 is that 39 is that ideal breakpoint where you don't hit the next breakpoint. Sorry, 39 is that ideal number where you don't hit the next breakpoint of 40.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
exactly. Because it's like the difference between 20 corruption and 39 corruption is nothing.
It's nothing. No,
it doesn't scale linearly. Yeah. So
no. But when you hit 40, that's when you start getting the things from beyond.
Exactly.
So I know because I got a 435 boot with Echoing Void on it, with 60 corruption on it. So I'm running right now. I'm running just at 40 because I have 20 resistance on my cloak. But that means that I'm dodging eyeballs and
the
things from
slowing
beyond.
the things from beyond. Yeah. Oh,
So it's interesting because I was actually hold on. Before I go into my, I want to. Is there anything else that you've been up to before I take over controlling the
yeah.
game?
No, we'll move on from there. That's
No,
good.
okay.
I've been doing a lot of that, man. It's been a lot of fun. So if you're on retail, you
That's
want to
awesome.
run some twos, you want to run some threes, especially if you're a healer, hit me up.
All
Let's
right.
do it, man. Or
Yeah. I mean,
whomever.
jump into the Warcraft Radio Discord and shoot
Yeah,
us some DMs. I know I got my DMs open on Discord.
same.
I'm assuming. All right, there you go. Cool. Yeah. So last Tuesday, me and Winstead ran some twos. He was on his Disc Priest, and I found a couple times. I think people have some alerts because uh, when the eyeball popped up to start zapping me, that's when people started rooting me in place and doing things to lock me down.
Smart.
Yeah. I didn't appreciate it. I had to
Were
waste
you on the
trinket just
lock?
to... Yeah, I was on my
Oh,
human
even
lock.
worse.
Uh,
Yeah, lock's not a good corruption wielder.
Mm-mm.
No.
Which you think they would, right? I mean, well, I guess Shadow Priest makes more sense,
Yeah.
but
I liked the image of I can't remember who shared it on Twitter, but it was going around the Twitter sphere, and it just had like a shadow priest with like just like really poorly, and it's got like the like eye of N'Zoth on his head, like on his
yeah,
helmet. He's like, "Are we the baddies?" Like it is a caption like "Shadow Priests in 8.3."
yeah.
Yeah,
Finally, I feel
yeah.
comfortable. Yeah,
We weren't trying. We weren't
that's
going to tell
funny.
you, but
Hmm.
no, no.
So the other thing that was kind of funny is while people were locking me down, there was one game where it was in Ruins of Lordaeron,
Mm.
or not, sorry, not Ruins. We're in Sewers of Dalaran, right? And I was getting trained by there's a shaman and another melee. I can't remember if it was Pally or a warrior, and we won because my echoing void triggered, and it actually made up around, I'd say, around 80% of my damage because I was getting trained and locked down, so I couldn't really do much. I think I got off like one immolate and a couple conflags, but
Mm.
otherwise, like almost. Oh no, I also dropped infernal. So between my infernal and
Yeah,
my echoing void, we killed somebody.
there you go. Nice.
But everything's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
and that was after the nerfs that they did to echoing void.
Did they nerf Echoing Void?
Yeah, we'll get into that in the news. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway.
Right.
Other than that, I think the only thing else I've been up to, I spent a bunch of time trying to level up my cloak. I got it to level 6.
Go.
But I've just been so I keep saying I'm on this French course. We have midterms coming. We have a midterm coming up this week.
Yeah.
So the whole like last week and this week, I've been just just grinding out the homework. So I haven't had much time to grind out in
Yeah.
game.
Yeah. I have been watching the Race to World First a lot though too.
Nice.
So.
I watched a little bit. I watched some because I was helping out the
Yeah.
Warcraft radio guys.
Yeah.
So
Right.
nice, nice. How are you finding that? This
It's
time?
been enjoyable. It's been
Yeah.
what makes it more enjoyable too is when you have a race and not just like a big front runner. So Limit has been absolutely just bending this tier over, and
Hmm.
oh my gosh, man,
Well,
they
it
like
almost
today
seems like
the
they're the front runner. No, method seems like it's a little bit behind.
They are, and the first thing that a lot of people will jump to on that is, and I don't want to make this a Race to World First podcast here, but we totally could. But the first thing that people will jump to is, well, Limit got a head start, and all this stuff, and they did today as well. Okay, but the thing is, what you have to do is you have to put up the time that it takes for Limit to clear something like Raden, and then the time Method has to clear Raden,
Yep.
and then also look at Drestagath, and you'll see obviously like Limit is outperforming Method on
Big
almost
time.
every
Yeah.
front right now. It has
Yep.
nothing to do with a head start on any of that stuff. And in fact, like Method's normally used to being ahead, even with being able to get that late start. So,
Yep.
but the fact that like really, I think Method in a lot of ways was kind of hoping on maybe Carapace slowing Limit down maybe a little bit on the re-clear or something like that, but no. They
Nope.
plowed through their first poll on Nazoth back down to 55%, which was their last poll before the reset. Like, so
Yeah.
they're firing
They're
on all
just
cylinders, and
they are.
some of the new like metas that have kind of shifted out of this by having your
Mm-hmm.
21st man, right, or
Yeah.
having that your guy in the sky, your cockpit guy, has been
Mm-hmm.
really an interesting thing to kind of unfold and watch.
I will say though, over on the method stream, the custom extension that they have where you can hop around and it links you directly to other method channels is really awesome.
They did a really
I
well
think
job,
that
really great
yeah, they
job
did.
on that. Yeah,
They did. Stream wise, I think Method Stream, their official stream, has been much better than the Limit stream.
yeah,
But the gameplay over at Limit and just what they're doing is yeah, totally by far
yeah.
unbelievable. And I just want to point out before we move on to the next subject, but you're right on the whole time frame and everything. The Warcraft radio people have been doing great coverage on it, and they actually did a infographic showing each boss and how much time it took between Method and Limit, and the
Yeah.
time it took them between each. So
Absolutely. Yeah. So if you have time, go check that out. It's warcraftradio.com/race to or RWF. It's simple as that.
yeah,
Give it a look, and like it's really nice little tool that the guys here and gals actually have put a lot of work in to make that possible. So get a look.
exactly.
Use it for what it's worth, and enjoy the
Yep.
race while it still is on. So
Yeah. So now that we're done talking about PVE stuff, let's talk about some more PVE stuff.
well, Mahordai's a little right. It's still technically PvP, huh? But it's on technically PvP. That's true.
It is. So it's the race. It's the world first, technically PvP.
Right. First.
We are first. All right. Well, let's get into the next little segment here and go into our need, greed, and pass.
This likely won't be a clean fight, so keep your distance, eh?
All right, let's get into it. So,
Indeed.
Gerissar, I believe you have our.
Yeah. So this
Topic.
episode is my turn, but just in case we have some brand new listeners, I just want to caveat again. So in this segment, one of the hosts is going to pose a scenario. This time it's me, with 3 options related to WoW. The participants need to decide which option they will need on, which they will greed on, and which one they will pass on. So let the hilarity commence as we all decide on what we will need, greed, and pass. So Andallyn, here's the scenario.
Okay.
It is the month of February, and yeah, it's the month of February, and there is a new achievement. You need to log in and win an epic battleground every day, and you will get one of the most awesomest mounts you've ever seen. So your choices are Winter Grasp, Isle of Conquest, and Ashran. Which one are you going to... You have to run one
This is easy.
every single day of February.
This is really easy.
Okay.
I'm going to need on Winter Grasp.
Yeah?
Absolutely. I'm going to greed on Isle of Conquest,
Yeah.
and I'm going to pass on Ashran.
All right. I need to know why. Why are you going to need on Winter Grasp?
Winter Grasp is going to that's going to be the most palatable. It's picking between things that I don't want to do already.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
yeah, or I could be like Winstead now and be like, what if I just don't get them out? But I'm not going to do that. So
No, actually, if it was Winstead, he'd just go, I just play
Oh,
Outbreak
yeah.
Valley then. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So I don't know why he hasn't figured out how you can get your kids to farm gold and farm mounts. Dude.
I thought he was. I thought he taught his kids how to do herbalism and that for stuff.
I don't know. Like,
Anyway.
yeah. The Chinese figured it out. I'm just kidding.
Oh, whoa.
Then never mind. It was a joke. It was a joke. Yeah, but anyway, yeah. Wintergrass, most palatable. That's what I would go with. Isle of Conquest isn't that bad. I like them because you can kind of rocket through them. They're not typically, those don't get extended really long, but they seem very one-sided towards the Alliance.
You say that, but I've been in a few that have like just all it was a well one-sided map for the Horde.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So okay.
Yeah.
All right. So for you, it's Wintergrasp, Isle of Conquest, and then Ashran.
Yeah. I liked Ashran a little bit, but then I realized that was only because we were winning, and it's just like, I don't know. It's just Ashran is a really tough. It's really tough to get on board with. I just, I'm gonna pass on that. I don't want to. I'm gonna steer clear.
Okay.
What about you, Gerissar?
All right. Well, I'm actually going to need on Isle of Conquest.
Okay.
Because while, yes, the Horde has one-sided it several times, I find on the Alliance side, we do have a higher win ratio on that. And if I have to win every day, one map, I'm going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to greed on Ashran. And I'm going to pass on Wintergrasp. Because it seems to me like the way Wintergrasp is done right now, not saying I have a lot of experience with it, but when I have played it, it's felt very much like the Alliance has never figured out how to not lose it. And when we're defending, when we're attacking, it's 50-50. But when we're defending, it's like, it seems almost like the team runs out and just grants a whole bunch of kills to the Horde, and then the Horde just steamrolls it.
Yeah.
And it happens very often. I feel Ashran can actually be fun. I like do the other things and do the kind of the tug of war thing in the middle. But time-wise, it's not the best. So again, Isle of Conquest, higher chance of winning, more spammability, like you're talking about, like you can just churn through it. So yeah,
that's not a bad answer actually, because I would consider needing on Isle of Conquest just for the spammability aspect of it in its own. But I don't change my answer. But I definitely think that's a valid answer.
Okay,
so
cool.
It's good.
So here's a question: if you do Isle of Conquest, where do you rush to?
So personally, I like to go to the flying place. Was it the airplanes, the airfield? Is that what it's called? Airfield?
Hangar?
Hangar.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because it's so good to jump right in. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
I know that
it's like, only way.
It's like Alliance rushes the airfield or the hangar, and then like Horde rushes the catapults or whatever, but like,
yeah.
Or it's the other way around. I don't remember, but like,
well, it used to be Alliance go docks, but then they nerfed the amount of health on the glaives, and they're like paper, right?
That's good.
So it seems to be like it's send almost everybody to a hangar, send a team to the siege workshop in the middle, so you can get the siege engine, and just do that. The hardest part is trying to get people to all shoot the guns on the airship at the right door. Seems like people don't understand how to do that. Anyway, okay, cool. Well, since that's only Nigri Pass, and we're not going to be talking about Ashran or Isle of Conquest or Wintergrasp for that matter in today's episode, let's move on to the upcoming WoW PvP events.
Get in there and fight! Stop hiding!
Let's do it.
Indeed. You know, it's funny. I think I can almost hear that in my ears. Almost. It's very... Yeah. Anyway. All right. So upcoming WoW PvP events, there is like nothing going on. It's like everybody's like taking a break, waiting for...
We'll see.
Well, I can't say it. Sorry. Dalaran Gaming has been doing some of his dual streams, and I have been retweeting those. But definitely, I haven't seen anything from Flark. I haven't really seen anything else. I'm still waiting to find out the official news for an official written announcement from Tips about the Classic Jewelers League. It looks. I think there's some news put out where he's now going to do an EU1 and an NA1.
Yeah, he did allude to an EU CDO, and we'll see what happens. But I mean, if you know anything about what he's doing, like he's got like 98 volunteers that he's been managing for the NA CDL. Like that was awesome. A huge undertaking. Plus, he's got a couple things to figure out too, because they don't. EU doesn't exactly have a was it Fairlena? They don't have a place where everyone who's anybody or they don't have a streamer server, right?
Yeah.
So
people just went wherever nobody focused.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a little more scattered, and people didn't like get all sensitive about it like they did in the NA, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
But
I like that, sensitive about it.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me EU doesn't have an anti-streamer server?
Yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So. Interesting. Well, I know I'm interested to see what's going on with him. I'll be honest. I've been really. I've been surfing some stuff, but I haven't seen anything written to exactly lay out what the plan is. So I haven't delved into and watched any of his VODs to say where he explains it. But if I understand correctly, there's going to be an EU Duelers League now that's coming up. There's going to be a second NA Duelers League, and I saw something about a Twink League as well, which is probably going to lean towards the battleground stuff. So
yeah, we'll see. I would tend to lean towards the side of waiting for official announcements on that stuff, as he's only hinted towards all of that stuff, and he's also kind of talked about making his own game this year. So I don't know. I would wait for things change, and so I would wait for official announcements on any of that personally. But
fair enough. I like it.
Speculate,
which we don't like to do here.
No,
we like
never.
to deal with the facts. Never. No. All right. So let's get into the subject analysis.
At least we're honest with ourselves.
Who are you?
Let's get the subject of analysis.
I'm gonna light you up, sweet cheeks.
All right, so today we're talking about the Robodrome, the extra gnome-powered creation that is the newest arena that has come to the game in
Indeed.
Yeah, in patch 8.2.5 or 8.2.2.
8.2.
Yes.
Yeah, back in June.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this was kind of a surprise, because I remember there was first talk that they weren't going to really implement anything new, and then with the launch of the new Mechanome area, they decided to drop a new arena, which I'll be honest, from the looks of it, is almost, I'd say, as balanced as Nagrand. Just off the cuff.
If we're being honest, it feels like an Ashran recolor.
You think really?
Think about it. I mean,
an Ashran or a Nagrand?
An Ashran recolor.
Ashran.
Yeah, absolutely. So
okay,
we're gonna transition over right here.
have some stuff over on the video, so if you want, go take a look at the VOD. We have we had a little picture of it to kind of give a but for those who maybe can't do video and need to listen only, so it's a circle. It's a circular room. He said there's the 3 pillars. One is actually ramped. The other 2 you can't get up on. You can only go around it. But yeah, I like the ramp idea because that gives it a little bit of Z-axis, right? So you have that height there. I'm not sure. I think the other thing, like you said, similar to Ashamane's fall, is the. Well, actually, no. I think Ashamane's, the angle where the pillars are to the circle of the zone aren't exact angles to it, but in the Robodrome, each pillar is, if you actually put a line through them, I think it actually draws an equatorial triangle inside the circle.
Ashmane's does too.
Does it? Okay. I thought it was slightly off, but okay, cool. So yeah, so like I said though, I think this is a pretty balanced map. And maybe not as balanced still as like Negrand, but I think between it and after Negrand, I think Ashamane's and this one are pretty balanced, just because you have the pillars, you have the circular zone, that kind of a thing.
Yeah, right? I like how they brought the Ring of Valor type of thing ish back, where you could climb up on top of the pillar. Now, obviously, like if you remember the Ring of Valor, that was the one where you had the elevating the elevator with the on the map, where you had the 2 sides where that would go up on the elevators and stuff like that. But you know, this is fixed. Nothing's moving, right?
No.
So, but it's kind of bringing in that same type of feel. So that's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love the Ring of Valor. I missed that one.
Yeah, it was really neat. It'd be really cool to have that as like a, even if it's a brawl, it'd be so cool.
Yeah. I liked it because
put in skirmishes.
You started below and then you elevated up and then you had the pillar. And there was like walls that showed up too, if I remember, which like opened and closed the area. Anyways, we're not going to talk about it. We're going to talk about this one. So I guess because this one's kind of simple, aesthetically, I find it very pleasing. I like the whole mechanical side of the Mechanome stuff. I like the zappy electricity. Although, I remember when I first saw it, I was really kind of hoping that would actually interact with the map, similar to how in the like Dalaran sewers, right, where the pillar of water comes down and it kind of blocks, or does something. The zappy electricity doesn't seem to do anything. Yeah. And I guess I don't know. Is there any? Do you know any tips or tricks, like other than the fact that it just has some big pillars that you can like line of sight around?
I think I don't. The only one that comes to mind is Heroic Leap. I have a feeling, I can't remember if I've seen a warrior actually Heroic Leap up on top of the pillars or not.
So I think they can. So I remember back in Legion,
you can.
You couldn't, as a warlock, I couldn't drop pillars at different heights. It all had to be on the same plane. Yeah. And in and also like same with Heroic Leaps and all that other stuff, they broke that. And then in BFA, Blizzard allowed it to happen again. They changed how those interacted. So like as a warlock, I can actually drop a pillar or a portal from the top of the ramp down to beside a pillar.
Right.
And I can do that in any kind of map, like where I have that Z-axis difference. So I want to say you could do the same thing. And just like how in some other maps, like Tiger's Peak, where you drop down and you're like just in the face of that higher platform, you can still skirt around and you can still do line of sight stuff because you don't have the angle of view, which I think is pretty cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. It makes for some good outplay ability there, which is always good. You want to be able to have something like that on a map. Because
completely.
Even though Negrand is the most fair, it's still, other comps are going to benefit more on other maps, and other comps are going to be much more, I guess, like, kind of stalled out by other maps.
I think Robodrome definitely leans more towards kind of a caster comp or a hybrid. I don't think it leans totally towards a melee comp, a melee cleave. because the pillars are quite large, and you can outrun or just like, positioning wise, use that to do line of sight and keep away from melee cleave. But at the same time, there, aside from that one little Z axis, there's not really. It's pretty much a flat arena, unlike, I don't know, let's say like was it Blade's Edge, where you have like the big Z axis with the bridge, and there's technically two different levels, right? So,
right, yeah. It depends there, because I mean, I could also argue from the stance of whether or not it benefits melee is it's gonna, if they want to play those two pillars that don't incorporate a Z axis, then what you're considering there is you're shrinking the map essentially. And so like,
true.
If you have a regimented melee comp that's going to be able to like grip you in, maybe it's a Windwalker or Unholy, like a Walking Dead you're going up against, you may have to be restricted to playing in just a small little portion of that map. So generally though, it is a larger sized map, but
true.
I wouldn't disagree with you that it maybe it's going to be friendly for caster. Anything with mobility is going to be is going to benefit. So more pillars, larger map, mobility.
Yep,
you're going to be good.
Well, like I said, like if you have with that larger map too, you can definitely do the wizard cleave where you do the triangulation, and you're just like, somebody's going to get hit no matter what, right?
Yeah.
So interesting. All right. So I guess strategy wise, I think we kind of covered that. So obviously you have your pillars, so you can use those for line of sight. You have the ramp, so you can use that to kite and then drop down, maybe portal back up or whatever. And then there's the triangulation for wizard cleave. Other than that, like I said, it's a pretty simple map. I don't remember seeing anything really intense for strategy on this one. I guess the only thing, if anything, it provides is if you're up against, let's say you're doing a druid, or not, if against a druid and you're doing the demon hunter, trying to stun lock and then mana deprive, it definitely has a bigger map that allows for the druid to get away, right?
Meaning harder for the demon hunter to essentially connect.
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly. That's going to come down a lot to the druid's play, right? But I mean, it's just, it's one of those things. It depends on a few things here. Is the druid able to heal something that's stacking like a melee cleave, or is he able to kind of triangulate a position to where he can stay well more than max range or something like that, and easily just keep hots rolling. So. Yeah.
This kind of sucks. I think we just blew through the whole map. I think we talked about everything already. This is a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh. Sorry. Fire truck just went by my house.
I didn't hear it. So.
They turn off the sirens just as I heard them coming.
They're like, oh.
I'm like, oh,
sorry,
no.
Gerissar, my bad. Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah.
All right, who called the fire at my place?
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah, SWAT team is no longer in. Just call fire.
Yeah, right.
All right, but, distraction done. Yeah, I don't know if there's.
In terms of aesthetic, though, I kind of like it. Like when you walk in, you're kind of like at these. Like it looks like it was built like an underground arena. Kind of like you would see in some kind of like underground MMA street fight or something like that. You know what I mean? So like, I think they did a really good job with the aesthetic behind that. And
indeed, actually, can you bring that up again? Just bring up the VOD again.
I realized that I put something in. I forgot to add our audio, so unfortunately I cut everybody out as soon as I brought up something. I can, but yeah, if you go ahead and talk about something, I can bring up the VOD here real quick.
Okay.
Actually, no, I can't. I didn't download it. I lied.
All right, don't worry about it. Let's not worry about it then. Okay. So well, yeah. So if you want, I think it was the NA, NA Summer number 4 fight. It was between Cloud9 and the boys, and they went and did a battle. So if you go over to the Twitch / Warcraft and go to their clips, because they separated everything out, definitely you can go and check it out. It's pretty good. It's a really good fun fight to watch. Actually, I'm going to do this just because I can. I'm going to drop that into the Twitch chat as well. So if anybody wants to take a look at that, see what we're talking about, see how the gameplay was. Because if I remember, it was definitely there was some pillar running. There was definitely some jumping across the map to other spots. So I think it kind of really shows what the different gameplay is available for that map. I will say, since it was a newer map, it wasn't picked very much during AWC 2019. I'm really hoping to see it more during AWC 2020. But I feel like similar to how the teams they tend to lean back towards the stuff that they know really well. I'm not expecting to see it picked for much, not at least in the first little while, unless they've had a lot of practice on it. So, yeah. All right. I guess Andallyn.
I wonder what would like. I'd be curious to see to maybe talk with some teams and be like, under what circumstances are you picking one of these maps? Because it seems like it's one of those map picks that isn't going to be involved until you get deep into a series. Maybe this is the third time they're going up against each other or something like that, and they're just maybe looking for an answer, kind of harkening back to that clip that you just mentioned. This was in a situation where I think it was the boys were playing. Yeah, the boys were playing that Windwalker Warrior, looking for a response to the RMD, right?
Yeah.
So
well, and I think that a lot of that was that whole summer was somebody trying to find an answer to RMD.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Anyway, I think
so. But what that does is that shows you that maybe this is pretty low on that totem pole of it hasn't seen itself come up in the meta as something that is a staple that you would use to say, oh guys, if we win this second game or we lose a second, we'll get them on the Robodrome. It's nothing like that. Yeah.
So I'm not sure. Again, I could be wrong. It may not have been their comfortability. It could have been the way the class or the composition meta was going in around, because that was during the summer, right? So that's when RMD was strong, and nobody really seemed to have a counter to that,
except Resurgent. At the time, they were never lucky.
That's true.
Yeah.
So I guess in that way, though, I'm wondering, because if you look back, because it was implemented halfway through the year, right? So it wasn't until the summer that it was really picked up. The map showed up that it could be picked, but looking at the number of matches played and the number of time that Robodrome was picked, it was like a last chance kind of thing. It almost smacked of desperation when it was picked, because it was they didn't have anything else to go to.
This is true. Yeah.
So, all right. So I'm just kind of curious then. If you could change one thing about it, though, what would you do?
That's a good question. And it's tough because, let's just talk about this for a little bit, okay? Let's take one step back, all right? So, they designed these arenas. There's not a whole lot of variation between them. And that's purposeful, I believe. I would say, you don't want to have something that's just okay, well, we would have won this game, but the stinking map, goofed us up, you want the players to decide the outcome of the match. You don't want to have, as much as it may be kind of memey or fun to kind of have a map that's, able to do something like that. That's not good for a competitive scene.
No.
So, if you're talking about it in a competitive scene, which is kind of what I kind of gravitate towards, I think you're looking at something that is either going to make the map slightly more this or that, or something that's going to change the aesthetic. Personally, I like the aesthetic. I think it's really cool and it's really neat. So, if we're talking about one thing you would change,
yeah,
I think it'd be cool if you could like, instead of, or in addition to those like shadow eyes spawning, right? If you could take some batteries and like plug them in to one of the pillars, what it would do is you could move the pillars or something like that, or drop the pillars essentially, or have some kind of map interaction. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So like for instance, if someone's just trying to cheese you, something like that, you could be like, well, I'm going to plug these batteries in and let's see you run now, or something like that.
Okay.
It fits with the theme, I think,
Yeah.
Work well. Or even if it's like you have to give it to some little mecha gnome who's like, okay, it's like sticks it in.
But either way, like it's a choice of, do I keep fighting or do I take time away from the fight to go do this other thing?
Right. Or if they're stalling, maybe that's becomes. I mean, this could be completely worthless, but I mean, hey, it's the one thing I would change.
Sure. Okay. Huh.
I like how we just took a collective drink break there.
Yeah. Well, I had to think. Cheers. Though. I like it though.
Cheers.
I like the whole idea of like I love map interactability. I really do. I understand how bad it can be depending on what happens for competitive stuff.
But that's kind of a nice way of integrating map interactability while still maintaining the competitive like decision, like the competitive. It's not an RNG thing that's happening, It's not like, even dare I say, the Dalaran sewer, which is like almost like a timed LOS, Yeah. I actually don't know if it's timed or if it's random.
I think it's timed.
I think so.
Pretty sure it happens. Yeah. It's like after so many seconds, the water comes down.
I wonder if arena players track that.
They probably do subconsciously. They probably don't have like a clock running, but they probably know that. Yeah.
I don't. I mean,
me neither.
I'm just kidding. I'll show you my week order for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No big deal.
All right. So I think what I like your idea.
Okay.
I was thinking of map interaction as well, but I was totally thinking cheese. I was thinking of very cheese.
Yeah.
So what I would like to do is, I wish I love the electricity. I love the whole energy of the map. I wish that more was done with it. So various things pop through my head. This one is probably the worst, at the same time the best. Is I would like where after they, just like with Dalaran sewers, where after a while the water comes down, I would like to see where suddenly the floor goes electrified. So what's going to happen is that there's going to be like a little siren, and everybody gets portaled to the top of the pillar that they're closest to, and the floor goes completely electrified. And if you're stuck on so obviously there's still a thing where you can knock people off, right? So if they get knocked off, they won't die to the electricity. It'll just stun them. It's just a quick stun, and then they can run off to a closer pillar or something like that, right? So it's not detrimental in that way. I mean, an extra stun is detrimental, I guess, but either way, though, all of a sudden, so then if they're playing Ring Around the Rosie around a pillar, all of a sudden siren goes off, and now you have 4 people or 5 or 6 people all of a sudden portal to the top of one of those pillars. Try to run away now.
Twist.
Yeah. Interesting. Imagine that against a shaman with wind shear or something.
Yeah,
like
right.
That, typhoon.
Here's a twist.
Okay.
What if the lightning doesn't stun you? What if it just does a large chunk of your health, but gives you a damage buff?
Ooh. Oh. So what would you consider a large chunk of health? How much?
50%.
Really? Okay. I was thinking 33. I was thinking 33%.
So get hit with a G-Pie for a damage buff?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'd take it.
Yeah.
Well, that depends. It depends on what my healer's mana is like.
Or it could be a thing of like static cling, right? To where, if you when you hit somebody else or something like that, it could actually like ricochet or something like that.
Oh, neat.
Or bounce to
That'd be
people.
kind of cool.
Something neat.
I like
don't
it.
know. There's a lot of cool stuff that you could do with it.
Oh, there's so many, yeah. And there's already game mechanics that they could team off of to get that to work. So interesting. Well, I guess that's pretty much Robodrome. Like I said, it's a pretty simple map. I don't think there's much else we can really talk about it. So
No.
I don't know. Let's move on. Actually, I'm going to throw this out to the players, out to the listeners. If you guys have an idea, maybe there's a strategy we didn't think of to talk about, or there's something that you would like to see as the one thing you change.
Yeah.
Give it to us. Tweet us. Technically PvP, or technically _ PvP. There's the email technicallypvp@gmail.com. And again, we've already said it before, over at the Warcraft Radio Discord. Come over, join us for the conversations, and yeah, like to hear from you. Let's talk about the news.
Yes.
All right.
Oh. He got cut off, but I don't know.
Oh no!
Want to try him again?
All right.
Let's try him again.
Sure, let's try it again.
All right. Who ordered up an extra large can of whoop ass?
There he is. There's old
There he
Millhouse.
Yeah. Millhouse. All right. So let's talk hot fixes. Hot fixes. As with actually, no, I'm not going to say as with every time, because there's been a couple of patches that have come through where there really wasn't a lot of hot fixes.
Yeah, it's true.
But this time, it's been pretty much daily. It's been pretty fast. So I know everybody was a little concerned about trinkets. We said like last podcast, I think like the day of launch, all of a sudden they nerfed a whole bunch of the PvE trinkets, especially the tank ones and everything, to make them less viable in PvP. Thank goodness. And then now we have all this corruption. We have all these different corruption things. And we started seeing some really crazy damage meters where people are like, between Echoing Void and Infinite Star, and I think that, what's the other one? It's the Tendril one or whatever. It's almost like a mind flay.
Beam. It's the beam.
Yeah.
Actually, the melee one where you have the corruption beam kind of like falling.
Exactly. And yeah, and it like it does more damage than like anything out there.
It's your
So
top
they started nerfing these, thank goodness. So I know most of them have been done. One of the ones, the Echoing Void one, which is the one I have, I said got nerfed. So originally, I think, what was it? It was right after our last podcast. They nerfed it by 50% in PvP. And then, I think it was like a day later or 2 days later, they nerfed it by another 20% straight across the board, PvE or PvP. So,
yeah, you talking about Infinite Stars?
no, this is Echoing Void.
Echoing Void. Yeah, they did a similar type of thing with Infinite Stars and Echoing Stars, Infinite Stars, and like it's by far the most like just it needs to be
it needs to be nerfed.
Yeah,
so
even after the 20% nerf, even after, like, it's a lot.
Yeah, no, it's
more so in PvE.
So,
but,
so I think I have a feeling that they're holding off. I noticed a lot of the changes lately have been on the bosses, on things that are broken with gear where it's not interacting like it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Right. But I feel like because we're in the middle of Race to World First, they're being very careful on making any gear changes, and they're probably going to wait until after the Race to World First to then let that go through. We'll probably see some changes. So in the meantime, if you happen to have a piece of corruption gear that has one of these broken corruptions on them, hey, enjoy the rating.
Congrats.
Why not, right? I think some of this stuff is still, you can still play around it, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, I mean I have the infinite stars on my mage, and I mean it's not like it's, I mean it's just, it's to the point to where if you're min maxing, you know, you not even
Exactly.
not even min maxing, but definitely if you're min maxing, but if you're playing competitively, sorry, you're just gonna get taken for somebody who has one.
Yeah. So the Echoing Void one's interesting because they changed it where it is actually dispellable. So if I'm in an area and they do a mass dispel, I'm going to lose my buff, and then I have to go through the whole ramp up again before I can discharge. And the discharge on it is pretty regular, but it's at the same time it's not guaranteed. Like, it doesn't ramp all the way up to 10 before it discharges.
Shaman can purge then too, yeah, or Shadow Priest, or Demon Hunter. Yeah, okay.
They should be able to. Sorry guys, I have a bit of a frog in my throat, so I'm going to be kind of clearing my throat every once in a while. I've been trying to be careful on that, but I just did it and I realized that yeah. Anyway, so I think there's a few gameplays that can be done and that people are maybe not totally aware of those, or you know, because again, like Echoing Void is only a circle just around you, right? So if the melee just gets out of that, it's not doing anything, right? So I mean, you don't have to hug the person the whole time while you're getting damaged.
Yeah,
that's kind of silly. Good question, Mortai, in chat there. You
Likely.
asked if mages can spell steal. Maybe, I don't know.
Likely, if you can dispel it, you can definitely spell steal it.
Well, so that's the thing, though.
Or purge, I guess. Yeah.
Maybe I'm not sure if because I'm not sure if it's because if you don't have the gear that would give the buff, I'm not sure what would happen there. I'm not sure if the computer. I'm not sure if the gaming system would know what to do.
Yeah.
Maybe. But
it
then
it might not ramp anymore. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. But then how would it trigger? Because it wouldn't know how to trigger, right? So anyway,
Depends,
if I'm not mistaken, though,
yeah.
when you spell steal, though, it only spell steals one thing at a time, right? So you'd have to
Unless
spell
you have
steal
Cloak Tongue.
That's right. Yeah. Dang mages.
Yes.
All right. So I think those were the big things that I saw in the in those hot fixes. Everything else, like I said, was pretty much just the PvE stuff.
Right. And then does the whole despawning of N'Zoth count as a hot fix?
I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
Sure. But we're a PvP podcast. That's not PvP.
Sure.
So if you guys are wondering what's going on with that, go check out again any of the other streams that are covering the Race to World First. Obviously, there was a bit of an issue with the end boss over in Nyalotha, the current Mythic raid, and yeah. In the meantime, the Blizzard devs have been working on it and all their engineers, and I think they fixed it, right? But
yeah, they did. It was it was an issue where limit was hitting the boss, and it was supposed to be a time when the boss was shielded to where you couldn't damage the boss, but they were just they were destroying, just chunking the boss's health, and they were like, "Oh my god, we're gonna kill it!" And then Blizzard was like, "Phew." Pulled the plug.
Everybody got kicked out of the instance.
Oh.
Yeah.
So now the joke is anytime that anything despawns, it's just thanks limit. So yeah.
That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
They did it. They broke the boss.
No, that's pretty. I mean, it makes sense if a boss is actually here's something that I want to say. Just quickly on that is yes, if something's not working with the boss, it really sucks that came out onto the street as a fully fledged dungeon that wasn't actually working properly, which it makes you wonder what happened there. It's not the first time. I mean, Blizzard does what they can in their internal testing, but they're also very careful because they've been doing this regularly with the Mythic stuff, where they hide stuff from these
Right.
players
The
because
secret
otherwise they
phase.
just otherwise they figure it out in beta, and then when the Race to World first launches officially, they just run through all the strats they already know how to do, and it ends in like 4 days, which is pointless.
Right.
So I appreciate that, and I'm sure the players appreciate it too. The thing I laughed about was, okay, so there's that case where they hot fixed, they removed Enzoth and kicked everybody out of the instance until they
It's
fixed
N'Zoth, okay?
it. N'Zoth? Yeah, that's what I said. N'Zoth.
Oh, okay. You definitely said Enzoth.
Yeah, that's what I said. N'Zoth.
No,
Yeah, I'm playing with you. Okay.
There's a big debate right now on the Method channel. If you go there, you can take the poll on how is it pronounced, N'Zoth or Enzoth. It's definitely N'Zoth.
Yeah, N'Zoth. Anyways, so so there's that. But then earlier there was another thing where they Limit was cheesing something. I can't remember what it was. They were doing something that wasn't supposed to happen, and Blizzard nerfed it, or it stopped them from being able to cheese a mechanic, which allowed them to kill a boss earlier, faster than they should have.
Yeah.
And I found it very funny because in the meantime, so they have no problem when they fix where we've seen this before, where they fix fights where suddenly it makes it easier for them to kill something. But as soon as they hotfix something that eliminated a cheese mechanic, Limit got so upset. I tried calling him out on Twitter, and I was just like, okay, millennial.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was my joke. All right. Into the rest of the news. So one thing that came up this week was supposed to be the Cooking Impossible brawl. So that's where everybody jumps down from hot air balloons and picks up vegetables out of the gardens and takes them to Nomi. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depends on which side of faction you are, the Horde apparently didn't know how to cook. So they kept getting, every time they went to put in a vegetable, they got DC'd and kicked out of the instance, which then made it really easy for the Alliance, as it should be, to win. So Blizzard has decided they disabled the brawl, took it off the list, and put in the Temple of Kotmogu brawl instead. Brand new news here, straight from Twitch chat. Apparently, Blizzard has fixed cooking, and the Cooking Impossible is back and active again. So, all right. Well, hey, if you want to go burn some vegetables with Nomi, now's your chance.
Nice.
Yeah. Gotta do the handguns with that.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, I just want to throw this one out there. There was definitely some Reddit goodness in the last couple weeks. So one I want to highlight is a video that was done up called the WoW Arena Beginners video. And I thought this was pretty good. It definitely highlighted what to look for in the most basic sort of sense, but it went through, crowd control, positioning, diminishing returns, and a few other things that were, I think, the basics that a lot of people should know about if they're going to enter into Arena, and give them some of the tools that they need to know so that they don't, you don't walk into a knife fight with a spoon.
Yeah.
So, all right.
That's good. Anything that's going to lower those barriers to entry, because that's one thing that's true about the arena is you just, I don't know. It's like there's a lot of like barriers to entry, right? Yeah. So it's tough to just jump right in, Whereas like a Mythic plus 0 to start just getting on the progression train of getting gear.
Mm-hmm.
It's much easier to kind of fit right into there to seamlessly kind of start along that path.
Well, I think so for doing something like Mythic Zeros and getting into the Mythic Pluses, it's easy because you're just going into something that you already did, because they do intro quests that makes you go into a dungeon and learn it. Versus
Right.
Arena, there's nothing for that. You are going, you know, you're jumping in not even knowing how, like, what to do other than how to do your PvE rotation.
Press buttons, yeah.
Yeah.
And still people don't know how to press buttons.
Well, let's be fair. I mean, there's also the whole the fight, flight, or freeze inside a person's brain. Like, you just can't get over that, right?
There you go. Okay. I never thought about it like that. That's true. That's good.
Right.
Look at this. Psychology with Gerissar. Yeah. You want to find out why you've been struggling in Arena? Maybe it's because of something that happened 12 years ago in your subconscious.
Maybe you're just wired that way.
Yeah, tweet us at Technically PvP. You'll find out.
No. I have not.
Get your WoW psychiatric evaluation done today. Don't wait another minute.
Evaluation?
No, evaluation.
All right.
Yeah, turns out you're crazy.
Yeah, just like me. Yeah. All right. I think that's about it. This is like one of our shorter episodes.
This
is
is
for
a
sure.
skeleton episode right here. Skeleton Crew, skeleton episode. Is that the same thing? I don't know. Like, let's go with it. Yeah. Sure, why not?
Yeah, why not? I guess I don't know. Do you have any shoutouts?
Ooh, no, I don't. I feel like I should just because we need to keep talking longer, but I don't.
All right. I actually have one, and it's over. Well, it's Twitch chat. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. Kudos.
Nice.
And with that, it's actually Mortai, because he told me first, or he told us first over on the Warcraft Radio Discord there about the Cooking Impossible issues, and gave us some links there to help keep us aware of it. And then also was kind enough to join us tonight and then let us know that it changed and came back up. So really appreciate that, because especially the it not showing back up, because I can't find anything in the forums or blogs or anything about that. Just the fact that there was issues earlier. So I want to thank him for doing that and making sure that we know what's new in the World of Warcraft. All right. Wow, that was fast. Whew. Let's get into our outro here and tell players where they can find us.
Sure, so you can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, Google Play, or directly from the RSS feed at libsyn.com. Please give us some reviews on Apple Podcasts, good or bad. It helps us know whether or not we're doing well or poorly, and also helps other people find the podcast.
Indeed. And if you want, you can go over to the warcraftradio.com website, where you're going to find us and all the other great shows they have there. And if you want to contact us directly, there's Twitter for the technically_PvP handle. You can email us over at technicallypvp@gmail.com. And look forward to hearing from you. Look forward to talking with you. And if you really want to, you can come and discourse with us over at Discord.
Ooh,
have a great night, everybody.
That's
Take
some
care.
alliteration right there. Have a great night.